Well, hello YouTube, and today we are going to be replacing a couple sensors on the '84 Cadillac Seville. The reason that we are doing this is because I had gotten a service now light, and after pulling up the codes I was getting shorted coolant temperature circuit as well as oxygen sensor not ready. So I fiddled with the wires and the connectors and such and got the code clear, and it has not yet come back. However, we are going to replace the sensors as well as the connectors because this is the air charge temperature sensor, and as you can see, the rubber of the connector has just deteriorated and is, I think it's turning back into the oil that it was made out of. But not only that, if we take a look at the wiring here, the wiring is just degraded. And that's the wire running into the loom right there, completely bare. And it looks like somebody else has been under here at some point in time butchering, or I should say repairing the wiring. You can see we've got a couple things for the AC system that are wrapped up in duct tape. And if we look over here at our coolant temperature sensor, that doesn't even have the housing of the connector on it anymore. And its wires are in equally bad shape. Let's take a look at our new connectors, or our new sensors and new connectors. Here are our sensors. First we have the charge air temperature sensor, which I purchased this off Rock Auto, and it was supposedly for this car, but the picture that it showed was like a huge barrel, like they would be on your intake tube. It was the only one that came with a pigtail, and it said that it was the button type connector, which is what this car has originally, so I figured I'd take a shot. AC Delco. And in the box, and we fish it out here, is the sensor, AC Delco. And it does not have the button type connector. It has the newer style pin type connector. But it's the proper sensor. It is nothing close to the picture that it showed. And we have the connector replacement pack from AC Delco as well. And this actually has some high quality crimp connectors with it. If you haven't guessed by now, it's an AC Delco part. And then we have the installation instructions. If you look at the wiring on here, they're both white wires, so there's nothing to tell how it's supposed to connect to the harness. However, it is just a resistive element in here as well as for the temperature sensor, and neither of the pins is grounded, so it doesn't matter which direction it's connected. And then we have our temperature sensor, same deal with the pin style connector and the replacement pigtail lead. This kit came with these horrendous things to connect the wiring up, which we're not going to use. I've got a couple crimp connectors here we'll put on. We have the tripod condensed down, and it is balancing on the radiator, the fan shroud, and the upper radiator hose. If the camera goes flying, well, that's why. Before we disconnect it, we're just going to pull this loom off the harness here and see how far back our wires are damaged. Alright, okay, well, we're taped in. Oh, hey, look. Oh no, is that electrical? Oh, no, more duct tape. Black duct tape this time. This is a fairly old repair. This is just dust. Not even sticky like you normally have. One of our terminals is going to be going into here. Alright, and here is our coolant temperature wire. one of them. And here's the other one. Okay, that looks like we can come back to about here and we should be all right with that. This one we're just going to cut it right here. There's a junction right here, and our other wire goes back into here further. But this wire looks like it's okay. Apparently it looks like these connectors have been replaced in the past. We're just going to snip that off right there. Oh, the connector just came right apart. How nice. Yeah. Alright, now... So this wire and that wire will be joined. Get that out of the way. The terminals that the air charge sensor connector came with were actually not large enough to fit 2 wires, as I was trying to do with this junction right here. So what I just ended up doing was soldering the wires and heat shrinking them. That should provide a more long-lasting repair than just crimp connectors. I'll go ahead and get this wire loom back on over the harness. So we'll do our charge air temp sensor first. That wasn't even in there very tight. Oh, that's nice and carboned up. We'll take a look at that later. Let's drop our new one in. And this actually has sealing goop on it. Loctite, presumably of some sort. Alright. And plug her in. One down, one to go. This is going to be a bit more tricky since we have coolant in the system. What I'm going to attempt to do is to just be quick about it. At least that one was loose. And hopefully... Oh, we lose our wrench. Let's see. Yep, we've got it finger tight here. And I pull it out with one hand, stick it back in with the other one. Here it goes. Nothing. Don't tell me it's not going to fit. That's it. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. Well, it wasn't too bad after all. Good. Connect our lead, and we're done. No codes. Just going to take it for a run up and down the street, see how it goes. Okay, so here we have the sensors. This was the coolant sensor. The air temperature sensor, and what's left of the connectors. That was the one for the coolant sensor. This is the one from the air temperature connector, and it's the little collar that would snap down on top of it.